What's going on, guys? My name is Will. I am another one of the creators with Anime Only, and today I'm going to bring you guys a list of 5 anime that are short and I think would be a great thing for you to watch while you guys are stuck at home. But before we get into that, feel free to leave a like, leave a subscribe, help us out. Me and my buddy just started this channel and would really love your support. It really mean a lot to us, so if you could just hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, that'd be great. So let's start it out with number 5. We have Aquaman Got Kill. This is the story of a boy named Tatsumi and this group called the Night Raid, and they kind of just fight government corruption, essentially. This show has great animation, has really good fights, and the story is pretty good, despite being kind of generic. I have this at number 5 due to the fact of how short it is, actually. There's a lot that you kind of want to see more of, which they obviously just don't have the time to do in the 24 episodes or so that the show is. Almost every fight is kind of insane. It's all really good. There's no real plot armor in the show, which is different. You don't really see that in a ton of anime. Usually you're like, oh, that's the main character's friend or whatever. That's part of the good guy group. They can't lose, right? That show doesn't do this, which is really cool to see because, like I said, you don't see it a ton, and sometimes it's really cool to just see, 2 really strong dudes just duke it out, and you know that whoever's stronger is going to win. Coming in at number 4, we have Donmachi, or Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? And this show is great. The premise behind it is pretty interesting. Belle, the main character, lives in a world where the gods are kind of on Earth, and they put into effect a game-like system, which involves like a dungeon. There's a dungeon in the main town that they're in, and the heroes or adventurers go through that dungeon, and there's different levels, and they level up themselves to try to reach, higher levels, essentially, of the dungeon. Belle is one of my favorite main characters. It's just kind of a funny premise to a show. He's not out for revenge or anything. He just wants to pick up chicks. One chick specifically. At the very beginning of the show, he gets kind of clapped by a minotaur, and then this girl, Ai, shows up and saves him at the last moment. He immediately starts liking her, and his whole goal is to get stronger so he can be on the same level as her, so she'll like him back. This is a fun anime. It's not too serious. The character design is really good, and all the side characters, add to the story very well. The fight scenes, although it's mostly like a kind of a funnier anime, the fight scenes are really good. One fight later in season 1 where Belle is fighting a minotaur is one of my favorite fight scenes in any anime. It's just animated beautifully, and all the it's kind of emotional a little bit. It really gets you into it. Like this kind of like where you're finally seeing his hard work pay off, which is just a really cool thing to see. And again, it's just a really fun anime to watch. I recommend it. So at number 3, we have That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. This is in the same kind of comedy/action genre, and Slime is a really fun anime to watch. It's your typical generic overpowered main character who's been isekai'd into another world, but it has its own little twist, and it adds that comedic effect to it, which makes it really fun to watch, like I said. So it starts out with a man who's stabbed in modern day, so he lives in modern day Japan. He's stabbed and killed, and as he's dying, he kind of thinks all this stuff, which essentially give him his abilities in his next life. There's a whole ensemble of side characters that really add a lot to the show and make it, more interesting than just following this one main character. Funny characters, cool characters. The character design's really cool on everyone, essentially, and then obviously there's kind of some memed characters who just are there to look funny. But this show has its great moments, and near the end of season 1, it gets a little bit more serious, and you can tell that season 2 is going to be a little bit more serious, which I'm really excited for. That comes out in the fall, so, watch this one soon, so you can be ready for that to come out this fall. At number 2, we have Darling in the Franxx. This is not something I would generally watch. I never thought I'd be watching a romance anime, but when I did go to watch it, I did not know that. I just saw stuff online about how good it was, and I was like, oh, I'll give it a try. And I loved it. It's up there on my top, I don't know, I can't really name my favorite anime, but it's up there with it. It's in the discussion of maybe my favorite anime. So this one is about 2 kind of main characters, 02 and Hero, and their love story in this post-apocalyptic world where these kids kind of are the fighters of the society for reasons you find out over the course of the show. And they fight these dinosaurs, I guess you could call them. They're not really dinosaurs, but they're essentially dinosaurs. So they fight them, and then along with that, there's kind of this ominous conspiracy going on behind all of it. And throughout the show, it kind of hints at it until finally you learn. And then this show just ends very amazingly, very beautiful ending. And all the characters within this plantation on the side are also great. But really, the love story between Zero Two and Hero is just a great story, and you really get involved with it and want to see these two characters get together. And the animation was beautiful. Everything about this show was just great, in my opinion, and I really loved it, and I think it's a great thing to watch. Now, at number 1, the top anime that is short that you should be watching while you are stuck at home, Konosuba. This, again, is definitely up there, possibly my favorite anime. It's a pure comedy, I would say. Obviously, it's got some action elements to it, but in my opinion, it's definitely made to be funny. So there are 4 main characters, essentially. The first one is Kazuma, a guy who died in his world, is reincarnated into another. So the premise of the show is he dies. He's in heaven, if you would, talking to this goddess who's in charge of kind of moving all of these deceased spirits into heaven, or she gives them this option to be reincarnated into this alternate world where the Devil King has kind of taken over. Now with this, he gets to bring one item that's overpowered, essentially like a great weapon, magical ability, anything he wants, to give him an advantage in this other world. As he's picking it, the goddess makes fun of him so much that just out of anger, he chooses her. So her name is Aqua, and she's another one of the main characters. And then they're sent to this other world with essentially nothing, because he didn't pick anything good, really. He picked this goddess who is essentially useless in this world. Over the course of the couple episodes, they meet 2 more girls who I would also say are main characters. And then their party just kind of has these funny run-ins on their adventures. And it's overall just a great show. Again, I really enjoyed watching it. Megumin is one of those characters in their party, and I think she's one of the funniest characters. She's just so weird, and I don't know, she's just really funny. So again, if you guys don't watch any of the other 4 on this list, I would really recommend watching Konosuba. It's really funny. It's just, the animation's good, and it's just a great show to watch, in my opinion. Now the show does have some fan service, so beware, but outside of that, it's pretty darn good. And like I said, this one, if you choose to watch one, is definitely the one you should watch from this list. Thank you guys for watching. Again, feel free to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We really appreciate it. Me and my buddy really love anime. We love talking about it, so we would love to keep going with this channel, and your support would mean a lot to us. Thank you.
シルビアさん、俺のケツになんか当たってるんですが。当ててんのよ。